This is going to be another book show and tell video because I like to plug books that, had an effect on me, or I learned something really good from, or whatever. The particular book I'm going to be talking about today is just as relevant as it was when it was first published or during the COVID era. This book was originally published in 2007. I have a 2021 edition here. I bought it in 2021 and I read it. It's a pretty fast read and it's loaded with lots of goodies. But first off, let me remove this compliance muzzle here because my speech will not be censored. I've talked about these sorts of issues before. YouTube videos, I did just one a little over a year ago. It was about a 20-minute video I shot, uploaded it, and within 5 minutes it got censored from YouTube, taken down for giving, false health information or some other kind of bullshit. The book, Virus Mania, again, originally published 2007. This is the 2021 edition. And it's written by 4 authors. 3 of them are medical doctors, and 1 of them is a medical researcher. Now, one of the doctors, of the authors, has a YouTube channel. Her name is Dr. Sam Bailey, and I will put a link to her channel underneath this video. Her and her husband both are medical doctors, and they live, I believe it's New Zealand. And they come to understand and believe, I believe they're both general practitioners, but they both come to understand and believe through their own research and continuing their education, not just going to medical school and becoming indoctrinated and then, spewing forth what they've been indoctrinated. They actually continue their learning. There's other doctors on YouTube that are that way, Dr. Baker, Dr. Berry, and other medical doctors that I respect, and I would call them doctor, because they continue researching and expanding their learning, correcting things they might have been taught wrong in health or in medical school, things like that. That I respect. Well, this book right here, if you've ever heard the term terrain theory, during the COVID era, when I bought this book, I was already aware that viruses were not living things. I knew that. They're genetic information. They're genetic pieces of genetic material. And I knew they weren't living. So I never understood why people were talking about, like using Lysol to spray and things like that. It's not an insect, and it's not a bug, it's not a bacteria, it's not a fungus, it's a virus. And virus is genetic material. They're not alive. I knew that. I'm heading towards 60 years old, and I knew that since I was a kid because my mom would take me to the doctor, and if I had a so-called viral infection, the doctor would say, well, I can't give him antibiotics for this viral infection, a bacterial infection, of course, but not a viral infection. And I knew that you don't give antibiotics for viruses. And that was what I thought was kind of common knowledge when I was growing up, the 70s and 80s. So, but when the COVID stuff started, I was thinking to myself, okay, the general main story, okay, it come from China, Wuhan, some lab, or, whatever. Okay, fine. So I was like, whatever. But at the same time, I didn't understand the 6-foot distancing. I didn't understand all the hype, the fear. And I was like, this is something weird about this. And have to mask and the shutdown, all that never made any sense to me, right? Understanding viruses from that perspective. Well, after reading this book, watching some other videos, listening to some podcasts, and reading other materials on the internet, I come to understand and believe in terrain theory as opposed to a microbe theory. Now, I'm not going to get into what's all in this book, but it's loaded. In this book, they explain the so-called polio epidemic. They explain AIDS. They explain all of that. And you'll begin to understand that there's bacteria, there is fungus. Your body can be inundated or overwhelmed with, toxins, chemicals, things like that, and your body begins to react, right? In trying to fight off an infection, trying to straighten things up. That's what autoimmune things are, a lot of kind of stuff. Body just doing its thing, right? But when I got to looking into this, now there's a German doctor, Stefan, and I forgot his name now, but he was, he was a doctor, he had a doctorate in virology. He was a virologist, and he came out years ago, 20 years ago or something like that. He came out and started telling people, he says, I no longer believe in viruses, I believe in terrain theory, but I believe people become sick, maybe from too much bacteria or fungus, but generally it's going to be toxins or bad nutrition or things like that. Toxins can be, chemicals, it can be too much alcohol, it can be some of the toxins that are in foods, things like that. But anyhow, That's why our bodies act the way they do. So when I read this book, and I originally did do a video about this book, I was simply sharing how this book has really helped answer my questions about, like I said, about AIDS, polio, what is a virus, what it isn't, and do they even exist? So I'm not going to go too far in this video. I don't know, hopefully this video doesn't get taken down for what little I've already said. But I really want to plug this book. You can go to Dr. Sam Bailey's YouTube channel. I'll put that link. And then at her channel, you'll have a link to her book. And she also has authored another book with somebody, I believe. Her husband, Dr. Mark Bailey, has a lot of writings and things like that you can look into as well. And research and articles that he's done. But, so check out that link below. But I just want to, the whole mask thing, the whole masking thing was silly. Now, I had a loved one that had to go had to do some medical type of thing, nothing major. And I knew that I was going to have a mask. And I got this mask, ordered it, and it came in the mail. And I had to wear it, and I had to wear it at one time. And of course, I got some glares and looks, which I didn't give a shit. But that, the masking, all that. And then you have the father of the shot, who is now the Cyrus of Israel, the savior of Israel, who is once again the president of the corporation called the United States Federal Government. And he's the proud father of the vaccine. He said he got it, and he thinks everyone else should get it. The quotes from him are numerous, what he was plugging the vaccine in the mainstream story, because that's all that used car salesman has ever been. So it doesn't matter who was president, Biden, Trump, it doesn't matter. The system is going to push its narrative, and through looking into alternative means, we talk about trusting the experts, but then we have ex-virologists, we have medical doctors coming out and telling you it's not a thing. This right here isn't even a thing. They don't exist. They've never been seen by the naked eye or with a powerful microscope. They've only seen the results of a chemistry experiment they call testing, right? All of that is covered in this book. I don't think anyone could ever read this book truly cover to cover and come away still believing in these stupid things right here and knowing that they don't exist. And that's just another form of fear that is thrown on us to manipulate us. And so you have to question everything. I mean, you have to question 6 million things sometimes. And dare to question, and if it's illegal in your country to question things, that's when you need to be careful, but more importantly, question more things. As some people already know, I am an ex-Christian, ex-identity Christian for that matter, Christian identist, and I am now into what I call the occult, metaphysics, mysticism, things like that. Not as a religion, but just more of a study, to understand the human mind and the nature of reality itself, and get into metaphysics and quantum physics and things like that. In the unseen realm to the seen. And being in those things, I understand why some people had to be occult, which means hidden, esoteric, meaning hidden, mystic, meaning hidden. I understand why they had to do that, because there were times where people would be following beliefs that they had about the nature of reality, God, whatever, spiritual things, whatever, and they would be burned at the stake. They'd be rounded up. They would be slandered. And for me, I believe in free speech, and I believe in free thought in the first place. And I believe in being able to question things, question everything. I still to this day question my own beliefs. I'll question this book, and I have yet to see anything counter it. You see what I'm saying? Always checking yourself. None of us think that we have a monopoly on the truth. But keeping things hidden, and so now even in this video, I have to code things. People can't say certain things without their videos being deleted, or their whole channels getting deleted, for simply just expressing their own beliefs. Now, by the way, this is called YouTube. It's not AI tube. This is YouTube. YouTube is supposed to be where people make videos. By the way, if you've ever noticed on my channel, I don't allow comments. There's a few reasons for that. One, I'm not going to give space for robots. Two, I'm not going to give space to former enemies or trolls or things like that. Also, I don't want people getting in arguments with robots not knowing that they're bot accounts. And I don't put my videos up to become famous or for the thumbs up or anything. If you thumb it up, great. If you share it, great. If you get something of it, that's what matters to me, is you get something out of my videos. If they're funny videos, I want you to laugh. If they're videos about inspiration or something, sharing with you or something like that, I hope you just get something out of it. But I'm not here to make money off of YouTube. I'm not here to manipulate anybody. I'm not here to push any cause. I like to recommend things. I like to point things out. I like to joke about things. I like to show stuff like what things that I do maybe at work or something like that for fun. But it's supposed to be YouTube. And YouTube is supposed to be you being able to express yourself. So is YouTube like Facebook? Is YouTube a publisher or a platform? Because if they're a publisher, then they can tell you, the writers, us, or the videographers, the bloggers, what we can say. But if it's a platform, then they should allow us to say what we want to say and let the free exchange of ideas come. Again, if it's illegal in your country to question certain things, then you probably should start questioning it. Question everything. Think for yourself. Even question your own thoughts. Dare to look into things and say, I know that there's something that's truthful here, something that's right. Let me look into things. And that's what I did with the COVID thing, is it caused me to start looking into the very nature of viruses. I bought this book here, and I started looking and listening to podcasts of other doctors, ex-virologists, things like that. And then I began to see what's really going on. It's kind of like 9/11. It's kind of like Pearl Harbor. It's kind of like the John F. Kennedy assassination or the Charlie Kirk thing. All of this. Always look into things, question things. And one other thing to the father of the shot. Years ago, even when I was in the white racialist movement, I pointed out that that Trump was an uber Zionist and that he was a system boy. And he's proving it now. And now not all, but some of his MAGA people are starting to become ex-MAGA. His Trump supporters are starting to become ex-Trump supporters. They're starting to realize something that I noticed a long time ago and put on my website, and even the ADL featured me as saying that I was one of those white racialists that actually said that Trump was just a Zionist and no good for anybody and didn't care anything about anybody. He's a used car salesman. He is in hock to banksters, and he has been for decades now, and he's going to do what they want him to do. And so when he went around and started pushing the shot and pushing all of these things, this narrative, he started pushing these things. I'm like, there you are. And now look what he's pushing. Look at the things he's pushing now and the things he's trying to push away and hide. Question everything and everyone. Get your copy of this book, read it, and maybe make videos about what you think about this. But this is YouTube. Make videos. And by the way, when it comes to comments, I was going to say, if someone emails me, they find my email and they email me, I will not respond to you if you do not have videos showing yourself here on YouTube. Something. I don't care if you mowing your lawn, you sitting there drinking a beer, or throwing frisbees. But if you don't have videos showing yourself, I don't know who you are. I have no way to validate what you look like, nothing. I have the balls to put myself out here on YouTube, my busted teeth, all that. This is YouTube. The internet is ours, ladies and gentlemen. The truth belongs to us. Information belongs to us. Don't let anybody censor. Just like with YouTube, they can censor me, they keep on knocking down videos or channels of mine. I'll keep coming back and I'll keep finding ways to do things. Because the more you hold, like the Creed song, the line, the more you hold us down, the more we press on. Hey, I like heavy metal, but Creed, they're not heavy metal, but I like that song and I like those lyrics. Let's press on. Have a great day.